Hi everybody, today I'm going to give you a demonstration and introduction to a feature of Advanced Custom Fields Pro that my friend Pavel made me aware of recently. It's called Flexible Content and it's described on the site as the Flexible Content field is a complete content layout manager. I'm using it currently on the site that I'm building and it really makes WordPress into what I would consider a full CMS platform. Whereas before it's been appropriated for CMS sites, it really is originally set as a blogging platform, but this plugin changes things completely and makes it so that the user can really define exactly what content they want on the page and what order that they want that content to appear on the page. So what I'll do is I'm just going to show you a mock site that I've created, and I'll show you how you can use flexible content to create areas of content on the page and easily rearrange them. So we've got a test site here called the Quiche Emporium, and what we need to do is, in order to create our flexible content fields, is we just go to the custom fields section of the navigation and then we add a new group which we will call our content. We'll give it a label of content, and then we want to create this as a flexible content field. And when you select the field, what happens is this section here loads up, which is the layout section. The way flexible content works is that you can define layouts for specific modular sections of the page. What we're going to do in this demo is create a slider and then secondly a content block layout, which will allow us to create any number of text columns or image columns that we want to on the page. So the first one we'll create is the full slider layout. And then because we want to add multiple images to a slider, we're going to create a subfield within the flexible content layout, which we will call full slider images. We'll add this as a repeater field, so we can add as many slides as we want, and that subfield needs to be an image field type. Okay, so that's our first flexible content layout set up. Second one we need to create is for the content, and we'll just call this content blocks. Again, we'll add this as a repeater field so that we can add as many as we want. You probably want to limit the number of columns that appears, because you're not really going to, it's not going to look very good if you have 8, 10, 12 columns of text appear on the page. So you can always limit the number of rows in the repeater field settings. We'll set that to, we'll set a maximum of, we'll say 4. And we set that as a WYSIWYG editor. Okay, the last thing to do is then to say where this flexible content field exists. We'll set it to the default page template. Another great benefit of flexible content is the fact that you'll reduce the number of templates you create naturally, because whereas before you were creating templates for specific layouts, now because of you can control the layout yourself, you only really need the default template, and you just need to tell WordPress or Advanced Custom Fields to loop through the flexible content field and then output whatever layouts it finds within it. The documentation is really good on the Advanced Custom Fields site. It gives you snippets of a basic loop that you'll need in order to output your flexible content. So the first section up here checks whether the flexible content field has some rows within it, has some data within it. If it has got that, then it will do a while loop through it, much like a WP query loop, and then output the content of the fields within the flexible content out onto the page. So we'll hide everything else. We don't need any of these fields really, and we won't be using the content editor anymore, because all the content we'll be outputting on the page is going to be done through the flexible content field. Okay, so if we just go to the page, as you can see, the visual editor's gone, and all we've got here is our flexible content field that doesn't have anything in yet. So we'll add our slider in, and we'll add some images. I've already got some preloaded images of some quiche in here. So we'll update that and then see how that looks on the front of the site. And lo and behold, we've got our slider in place. Now, for the purposes of this demo, I've already set up the template itself. So as you can see on here, I've just taken the code snippet from the Advanced Custom Fields site, and then because it's using Flex Slider, I've added some of the HTML that's necessary to get Flex Slider working. So we've got on here, it's checking for a full slider layout. If that layout's got the content in it, then output the contents. Same again with the content blocks. If it's got content in, then output and do a loop of how many fields are filled out in that flexible content field. So let's add underneath here some service type blocks underneath it, some images with a bit of text underneath. So we'll just add that image in. We just need a title for it. Just take that text. So the repeater field that's inside the flexible layout allows you to add as many columns as you want. Let's update that. And then on the page itself, as you can see, it outputs those onto the page. Finally, let's just add some introductory text onto the page, which we'll just do as a single column that spans the width of the page. And we'll add the text, welcome to the quiche. Let's save that. And there's the text down there. So as you can see, it's really, really quick for me to just load in different layouts, different areas of content onto the page. If we decide to change anything at any point, so if the user comes back and they've got another service that they want to add down here, it's really easy. They just go to their content blog, they can add another column, save it, and it's updated and shows in the extra column. If we decide that this text down here is a bit too long, it's a bit harder to read, so let's split it perhaps into two columns. All we need to do, add another row, take some text, update the page, and it splits the text over two columns. Now the best part of this is that the HTML actually doesn't matter. The order that you've got the HTML and the order that you're outputting all these sections doesn't actually matter in the template, because what the plugin allows you to do is actually reorder things on the page. So if we decided that we actually wanted the main text to be above the service blocks, you just drag and drop, hit update, and on the template it reorders the page, and that's the most powerful aspect of this plugin, and what will make making CMS pages for clients so enjoyable, because they will be able to just dictate exactly what they want on the page and where it appears on the page. So I hope that was helpful. That was just a quick introduction to flexible content, and thanks very much for watching. Cheers.